morning, friends. It is a cloudy Tuesday morning, and I decided last night that I was going to film a vlog. So here's where I am. It is almost 9 o'clock. I am almost done with breakfast, and I've replied to all of my comments and DMs and posted a reel on Instagram, which is one of the first things that I work on in the beginning of the day. So I am now just looking at my list, and I have quite a few things to do today, so I thought I would just take you guys along with me. So I hope you enjoy just this cloudy summer Tuesday in my life. So this day started in the office, as many of mine do. Here I am taking the clothes drying rack out of the office. This was in the middle of our pantry renovation, so you can see the boards up against the wall outside. And I didn't have room for the clothes drying rack in the pantry, which is why it was in my office. Anyway, so I'm turning on my computer. And today I had a bunch of packages to ship out. So if you don't know, I have a reselling business on Instagram where I thrift clothes and I resell them and give them new lives and send them off to people who will love them instead of letting them go to a landfill. I just love shopping and thrifting, and this is just such a fun job. I doubt I will do it all the time, like, you know, for the rest of my life sort of thing, but it's so much fun. So here I'm just weighing the packages so I can get shipping totals, and then I'll be printing off shipping labels. I like to send a handwritten thank you note to each of the packages, just as a little touch. I love shopping from other resellers, and it's so much fun to receive a package from them because you're supporting a small business. You're helping these people pay their bills or just be able to afford fun little things that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. I know that for me, my job, it doesn't really help us to afford any necessities, but it pays for things like new kitchen tools or special little new clothes for me, which is so much fun. So then I just take them out to the mailbox. If they fit in the mailbox, I just put them in there and put up the flag. We've never had an issue with anyone stealing packages. Some days, if it won't fit in the mailbox, I'll just schedule a pickup. Here I am logging onto Azure. I needed to put in a grocery order from Azure Standard. It's one of my favorite companies. You can buy almost anything from them, from chicken feed to toothpaste to produce. I love them. Anyway, after I did my grocery order with Azure, I had a bunch of dishes to put away that I had washed the night before. Just getting my kitchen ready for the day of food prep that I had. So here I am going to be shredding cheese. I like to buy my cheese in blocks and then shred it myself. I don't even own a food processor. This is one that I borrowed from a friend, and every once in a while when I get these big blocks of cheese, I will save them up in the fridge, and then once I've accumulated all the cheese that I'm going to need for a few months, I will ask my friend if I can borrow their food processor and use it. It's just a tiny little thing. My grandmother has like this big Cuisinart that works much better, but you know what? You use what you have or what you can borrow, and I shred all the cheese, I put it in a bag, and I put it in the freezer, and that works so well for us. So this is Parmesan. I got this from Costco when we went a month before this video. I don't often buy cheese from Costco. We don't go to Costco very much. They have the best price on organic flour, so that's generally what we go to Costco for. Also, their organic olive oil is really good, and they have organic lemon juice and maple syrup. We buy those things mostly from Costco. But I have found really good cheese from Azure. I will get cheddar, grass-fed raw cheddar from Azure, which is like the best quality cheese you can ever get. So I will get that from Azure. But this parm was at Costco, and
I just picked it up because we were out of Parm. I'm not sure if I've found a good, decently priced Parmesan from Azure. I will need to look that up. But yeah, I ended up with a lot of Parmesan cheese, which was really great because we use it quite a bit. I just love to top pizzas with it, or I'll use it to make Alfredo, or oh, what is that? Oh, cacio e pepe, which is an Italian Alfredo that doesn't have cream. It's just pasta water, butter, and Parmesan. It's very light and so good. So there's my Parmesan going into the freezer. Now I am going to feed my sourdough. So this particular day I had some starter in a different jar and I was putting them into this bigger jar. This video I filmed, I want to say about a month ago now. I'm finally getting around to posting it. But I've been using this big jar for my starter for this whole month, and I just mixed up the starter from the little jars and some flour and water. I have a sourdough bakery, so I do a lot of sourdough. And here I am feeding the ducks and the chickens. I'm sure you can hear them in the background. They are so fun. The ducks make me so happy. They are just the happiest creatures and they are always so hungry. They're just so fun to have. So feeding the ducks and the chickens. Now at this point, the chickens were not laying any eggs. I was checking for eggs, but they weren't laying any. So that was unfortunate, but I am happy to announce that since this video was taken, our chickens have been consistently laying eggs every day for the past, I think, 3 weeks. So that's been very exciting. Now I'm just taking a little bit of a lunch break. I think I was eating leftover spaghetti squash that day. It was very tasty. And I'll often scroll my phone while I'm eating. I know I'm not really supposed to do that, but you know, in those spare minutes, that's about the best time that I have to do that. Now, the night before, I had gone out to the garden and harvested a ton of tomatoes. I think this is probably the biggest harvest of tomatoes that we have gotten all summer long. I've brought in many a basket full after this. This was our first big harvest. But not nearly as many tomatoes have I collected since then. So I wasn't really sure what to do with them and I didn't have a lot of time to spare. So I decided just to go ahead and core them, cut out the bad spots, and put them in a gallon bag or multiple gallon bags and put them in the freezer. Now this tool that I'm using to core them is a strawberry huller and you can find it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the caption below. But it is the best tool for coring tomatoes, strawberries, really any kind of vegetable like that, or fruit, since tomatoes and strawberries are fruits. But it has been quite the lifesaver. Now, this day I decided to make salsa. So I cored a bunch of tomatoes and I think I had 4 gallon bags to put in the freezer, and then the rest of it I made salsa with. So I put the tomatoes in the blender with garlic and onion, and a lot of people like to roast tomatoes first, but I didn't really have the time, so I was like, I'll just do it this way. So I put the tomatoes and onion and garlic in the blender, and then I added a bunch of cumin, and I'm not sure what's in that. Maybe that is cumin. Cumin. I think I also added cayenne because I was out of chili powder. I think chili powder would be really good in that. Salt, pepper. You can add any fresh herbs. Probably oregano would be really good in that. Cilantro would be really good, but I haven't grown any cilantro this year. And then I'm adding lime juice, which is like the best addition to anything. Mostly salsa, guacamole. And then I'm just blending it up. Now, in years past, I have made chunky salsa, and that's the majority of what I have canned in the pantry. But my husband and I discovered that we don't like chunky salsa, and I don't know why we didn't think about that until this year, because there I was, it was truly a labor of love, cutting up the tomato chunks and the peppers and the jalapenos and the onions to make these jars upon jars of salsa, and we just didn't like chunky salsa. So this year I decided to make blended salsa, and we like it so much better. So I was pouring it into a pot to cook down a little bit to develop the flavors better. And then I didn't end up canning it. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I know that I used it in the next few days. Okay, so as you saw, I chopped up tomatoes for supper, and then I put rice in the Instant Pot with bone broth. The Instant Pot is my favorite way to cook rice. Now you may think, wow, how are you already working on dinner? I took a little break in between those last clips to get some stuff done. I think I was just gonna rest on the couch and read. So now I'm cooking supper. So I sauteed up an onion, added some ground beef, cooked that, added the chopped tomatoes from earlier, black beans that I canned, and that cup of salsa. Mixing that all together. I'm adding salt. And then I added the rice from the Instant Pot, and I'm putting this into a casserole dish. Then I'm adding cheese on top. I want to say I added cheese inside. And then I put it into the oven to bake. I don't even think I looked at a recipe. I think I just made this up. It was really good. I'm not a huge fan of Mexican casseroles, but they are very easy to make and my husband loves them. So I end up making them more than I would if I was just making them myself. Now, I should have put this clip before taking it out because I was actually doing these dishes while it was baking, but oh well. So one of the things that has really changed the game for me in keeping my house clean is trying to clean up after myself as soon as I make the mess. It's amazing how much of a difference that has made, honestly. You wouldn't think that it would make such a difference, but it has. So while dinner is cooking, I'll just try to either unload the dishwasher or load it up, do some dishes, and it has made the biggest difference. So there we go, clean dishes, dishwasher running while we're eating supper. We ate supper, it was so good. Here I am making yogurt. Yogurt is very simple to make. I get 1.5 gallons of raw milk every week, and with 1/2 gallon, I make yogurt. Then I'm off to making bread before the evening is out. This must have been a Tuesday night. I have a sourdough bread customer on Wednesdays, and she gets a loaf of artisan bread and a loaf of sandwich loaf from me. So I make up both recipes on Tuesday night, and I let them sit and rise, and then I bake them off on Wednesday. So having a sourdough customer has been really fun. I would definitely like a few more, but that just hasn't worked out yet. I'm sure God will bring them to me when the time is right. So I'm just faithfully baking for us and for this sourdough customer. And she pays me very well. For the last few weeks, she's been paying me twice what I asked, so it's been very kind of her to tip me, and that pays for our raw milk every week. So, she pays me for sourdough, and thus buys our raw milk, and it's just really nice. She supports me, an artisan, a local homesteader, and I can support another family that are homesteaders. So I just really like that. And I've been having problems with my dough being too wet, so I've had to add a lot more flour. But since then, I have figured out the problem, or I'm not even sure I figured out the problem. I just figured out how to fix it. And the solution is to put less water in the dough. So I've been doing that, and the bread has turned out completely fine and not super sticky, which is really nice. And then this is the second loaf. This loaf takes 8 cups of flour, probably because it makes 2 loaves. So it's been really nice because if we don't use this loaf in this recipe, I will just pop it in the freezer for our freezer stash. It's really nice to have a freezer stash of bread, even though it doesn't taste the same as fresh. It's really nice to pull it out. I've discovered that I like stale bread if I fry it in a cast iron skillet in lots of butter. It is so good that way. I am literally addicted. I'm never going back to eating stale bread from the toaster. I am frying it in a massive amount of butter. My best friend, she likes to do it in the air fryer. We don't have an air fryer. We're kind of a gadget-free household. We just have a small house and not a lot of space, so we keep down on gadgets. But here the bread is sticking again. It was so annoying to deal with this. And I was following the recipe exactly. Sometimes it would not be sticky, and other times it would be very sticky. So I just do not know what's up, but now I'm very cautious with my water. Anyway, so yeah, frying that bread in the saucepan with butter, game changer. It's amazing. Here I am cleaning off the counter. These scrapers have made the biggest difference in my life for cleaning off the countertop. They get all of the goopy bread off of there. So great. I love them. By the time I have kneaded 2 loaves of bread, I am very tired and I do not want to clean it up. But you know, having that clean kitchen in the morning is totally worth that 5 minutes of cleanup. So I do it. Put the saran wrap on top of these bowls, set them to the side, and then I am generally done in the kitchen after that and quite tired. I have adrenal fatigue, so I get very tired by the end of the day, but then my cortisol spikes, so I can get some stuff done, but after that, I'm just exhausted. Oh yes, and I forgot about my yogurt. I literally did forget about it while I was on the stove. It boiled over, it got too hot. That's okay, it will cool down. I'll whisk in some yogurt to start it. And here I am ending out the day with my Bible study. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing if you like my content. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.